Hey everybody, Manny Manarath here, author of Uncover Your Beliefs, Uncover Your True Health, and founder of Illicit Health. Earlier I showed you and walked you through the hunger cycle of empowered eating. My empowered eating program teaches people how they can use their body and their intuition to decide when they really should eat and what they should eat. And the importance of it is that they're relearning and regaining the power over food rather than letting food control them. And as a result, once they start listening to their body will do the right thing for them and tell them how much their body really needs to eat. And as a result, if you're carrying excess weight or you are suffering medical conditions as a result of this excess weight, well, you'll start to see, without willpower, without discipline, and without punishment, how your body starts to drop the excess weight. And it's just because you're starting to listen to your body tell you what it really needs. So in that segment, that's what I was talking about. And this is something that I remind myself to go through over and over again. As you know, I've gone through some bad experiences in the past. I've had a poor relationship with food. And it was only when I started to change my beliefs and tap into what was holding me back did I recognize that, yes, I did have a poor relationship with food. And as a result, I ended up gaining weight, and it didn't matter what diet I was trying or how strict it was or how quick it was meant to be. The fact was I couldn't stick to it because there were just so many rules which were telling me how I should live my life. It was when I regained the power that's when things started lining up for me. Now, something I wanted to share with you, I mentioned in the other video, was that I'm going through something at the moment and some things have popped up for me. And unfortunately, they're not necessarily things that I want to deal with. And what you'll find with the empowered eating concept is it gives you that opportunity to discover what's really holding you back, and also to deal with issues and challenges as they come up, instead of using food to suppress those emotions or those life stresses. So as I said, I'm going through some things at the moment, and I'm finding I'm not as cheerful as I normally am, because I've got some things on my mind and things aren't going the way that I really want them to go. So let's say I'm not too hopeful at the moment of what's going to happen. But all I can say is my eating patterns have changed. I've been finding that I haven't wanted to eat as much as I normally do. And in the past, I used to use food to deal with my emotions. If I was stressed, if I was bored, straight away I would run to food. It would comfort me temporarily, but at least it would distract me from what I needed to deal with. Well, over the past few days, I've been finding that I haven't been doing that, and I believe that it's because of the investment that I've made in practicing the empowered eating concept. But what's happened? What's come out of it? I've been feeling a bit disappointed, let's just say. I'll label it as disappointment. Because let's say it's been, 4 or 5 hours since I've eaten. And I know I need to eat, but I don't have an appetite. And it's because my mind is elsewhere. So I think to myself, yeah, I really should eat right now. And, maybe I will go for it. And so all these thoughts of junk food come up because I'm not hungry. So I don't really feel like anything substantial. But I can sense an itch to just eat. And I have to say, it's because it's something that was very familiar to me. So I'm thinking, okay, I can go for potato chips. There's some soy ice cream. There's some chocolate biscuits. I've got some cookies in the cupboard. Look, I do have a good supply of junk food readily available if ever I want it. And that, we can explain in other clips why we do that. There's some psychology behind that as well. But the point of it is, I've got them available. I know that I can just reach out for it. But the other part of me, the part of me that's been working at empowered eating says, but no, Manny, you're not hungry. you don't even feel like these foods. So I go, okay, well, I'm not hungry, so I can't continue any further. So what do I have to do? I pulled out my journal and I started writing in there. I started writing notes, asking myself questions. Why do I want to eat knowing that I'm not hungry? And I'm thinking of all these bad, so-called bad foods. But yet I know that I don't even feel like those. And I'm well aware if I eat them, it's not going to fulfill my, needs. Something that I've realized. This is something that has worked for me in the past. If I'm bored, if I'm stressed, if I'm unhappy, I can run to food. And so I enjoy it, and it temporarily distracts me. Gives me some excitement as well, and there's the chemical buzz that's happening in my head as my body's receiving all of these different chemicals. But the thing about it is that I do feel lousy afterwards if I do use food to fill a void, right? We all know that feeling. But then the thing about it is, when I feel lousy, it gives me something to focus on. Because I say to myself, I shouldn't have done that. I've worked so hard. I've been going to the gym. I've been eating well all week, and then I go and blow it on this. Oh, well. And then all these negative thoughts start to come into play. Okay, so this is the way that I used to do things before I started using the empowered eating concept. But from that, what I realized was, using food to fill a void did give me a quick excitement to look forward to. And then the act of doing it distracted me from what I really needed to deal with. And then after going through the experience and feeling lousy afterwards, it gave me a reason to be disappointed with myself and blame myself. But what it was also doing was distracting me still from the issue that I had to deal with. So here I was stretching out an experience also that I can avoid the pain of what I really needed to address. So here I am the past couple of days thinking to myself, I'm not eating as much. And the foods that usually appeal to me, I don't even feel like. But I want to. I want to feel hungry. I want it to appeal to me. And then I realized, and this is something that we learn in neuro-linguistic programming, there's always a secondary gain to things. There's always an intended positive outcome that you get out of things, even if overall they're not good for you. So I asked myself that question. What is the secondary gain from me wanting to use food to fill that void? And that's when I realized, if I don't use food to cope with my emotions and my frustration, I don't have food to blame anymore. And if I don't have food to blame, I'm not distracted, and that means I have more space, more thought, and more time to focus on the thing that I really need to. And that was my epiphany at this very moment, to say that if I don't have food, if I don't abuse food, I can't blame food as being the reason for my problems. So this is something that was my aha moment, and I want you to see if that resonates with you too. Because as you go through the process of applying empowered eating principles, you may find that there's some part of you that doesn't want to give this 100%. Even though you know you will get fitter, you'll lose the excess weight, you'll feel better about yourself. But it's because there's some part of you that knows there's some benefit from using food. But when you bring that to the surface, when you raise that awareness, that's when you can say to yourself, well, hang on a sec. That secondary gain that I'm getting out of that experience, rather than allowing that experience to give me that secondary gain, how about I do something positive that also allows me to give me that secondary gain? So that's when I thought to myself, okay, well, To blame food gives me a reason to be distracted from what I really need to deal with. You know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to call my girlfriend up. I'm going to go out, hang out with her, have a good chat. That is going to distract me for a while from what's really happening. But as a result of talking it through, I end up identifying what I can really do about it. And from that experience, I've actually come up with some answers on how to resolve the issue that I need to. So that's something I want you to take away. What is going to prop up for you, and when it does, how are you going to handle it? This is Manny Manarath, signing off.